ready to talk hockey. Streaming from the Oilers Live Studio. Subscribe or follow today.
Hey, it's Michael here for another edition of Oilers Live, Tuesday night post-game edition. After a exciting, I think we can call it exciting, 7-5 Edmonton Oilers win. One that we never had in doubt for a moment. And my guest tonight, my usual guest, as it seems as of late, is Mr. DashInThePark from the Straight Off the Pipe podcast. Welcome, Dash. How are you doing?
Buddy, I am doing good.
Why?
Why am I so good? Because I get to talk hockey with you, really is what it comes down to. My life consists of like work, parenting, and podcasting, and work and parenting's fun, but podcasting is way better. And I know you're the owner of the network, and you're probably aware I have another show called Straight Off the Pipe, but I guarantee that you've never watched it. My co-host there, Dursa, man, he's a pain in the ass. So when I get to come talk hockey with you, it's like the best part of my week.
And I'm sure he's listening in right now, which makes it even better.
You know him? You've heard of him?
Yeah. I've heard of him. Heard of him once. Yeah, in passing. My notifications flare up every game day.
Yeah, he's like a little child sometimes. He likes to push buttons, or he's like that kid that spins the carousel and like watches all the kids fly off. And goes, it wasn't me. I don't know.
I was that kid. Still am in some ways. Before we begin, I never say this, but to all those of you tuning in or wherever you're at, we would appreciate your support going to youtube.ca or .com/heavyhockey. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, most importantly. Get those subscriptions up for us would be absolutely awesome, and I would thank you forever. That's about it. That's all I've got to say there. Let's talk some hockey. Let's talk some Oilers hockey, most importantly. This is pretty much how I called it, 7-5. I think we were talking before the game. I said it feels a bit like a 7-5 kind of game. Not at all. Have you seen a more dominant first 4 minutes in a game ever?
Well, certainly not by the Oilers this season.
I legitimately thought Detroit was going to pack it up and just go home. Like they didn't leave their zone for the first 4 minutes.
I was a little bit late getting to watch the game, and Stauffer said when he was announcing it too, no better our defense than just keeping the puck in the other team's end for the entire first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think Josh Bolton from Tough Call, he said he was talking about Jack Michaels said at one point, and finally the Wings can at least see Koskinen without squinting. It was that dominant, come out that dominant. You sit there and you watch a team come out like that, and you kind of, I don't know if you're like me. The immediate thing I think of is like, this is too lopsided too soon. And a game like that has that feeling of, you're going to take the foot off the gas because it just doesn't feel fair almost, right? Like you got to maintain that killer instinct. The Oilers clearly didn't do that tonight. Koskinen, who at one point made me a huge believer, sort of, I don't know, I think he took his foot off the gas too. Some people are saying a couple of those goals weren't his fault. I'd say he just kind of looked a little bit lazy on a couple of them to let the Red Wings back in. I will give him, though, that stick check. That was a thing of beauty. I was off the ground. I was jumping up. I couldn't believe it. I rewound that like 20 times.
I did once, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the start was unbelievable based on what we require, right? I mean, we're what, 18-0, 19-0 now when we score first. We're the only team in the NHL that's undefeated in when we score first. Let alone a start like that. But like you said, what is it, just like self-addressed or self-assigned load management that they just decided that 4 goals is enough? We're just going to stop playing hockey here for about. I honestly think at that point in the game, they're just like, well, this is enough. Four is good enough. Let's just move on to the next game and go play Buffalo. Because, man, that second period was pedestrian. Like, it was gross. I just actually had to look it up as you were saying it just to give you some oomph. But 4 shots in the second period, 1 scoring chance for. They had 18 in the game, and 1 was in the second period. They had 10 high danger scoring chances in the game and 0 in the second period. They just went to sleep, man. Koskinen included, like you just said.
Let's look at this though in a different way, and maybe in a way. Stauffer put out a tweet a little bit later, and he said, don't critique a win, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think sometimes you have to. Game like tonight, you have to, but. But having said that,
because I have to ask you something later on.
Yeah, okay. Good. Having said that, here's something that kind of is a big thing, right? Like and something we've been screaming about all season, which is getting that early start, getting out of the gates fast and hard, like the Oilers did tonight. It never is more apparent on how important that is than a game like tonight, where you end up winning the game because you started on time. Now, granted, they let their foot off the gas.
19-0.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's a shame that they did that, but they still pulled out the win. You got to be happy about that. A lot of grit to come back, because the momentum can swing a lot when you have a game like that. And then when they came back on the 5-5 tie, I mean, even that could have broken them. Never did. These guys came out. They continued to fight. You're going to how many times? I mean, we used to talk about, well, maybe, I don't know if you're in this boat, but I remember there were Oilers years where we were pretty lean on wins, and we'd outshoot the competition, night after night after night. But it's because we were always down, right? Like the team that a lot of times the team that ends up with the most shots, it's because the other team sat back and allowed them to have the shots because they're holding on to a lead, right?
Those are also the same seasons Ben Scrivens was giving up saving 50. So just depends whether they were on the up or the down in that season.
Is that what we?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Is that what we need? We need Scrivens back.
We could trade Cassian back for him maybe now that we've had Cassian for a while. That was a good deal coming our way, but I don't know now. It's funny you say that, hey, because I was looking at some of this here. I noticed a lot of, here we are playing Washington and Tampa, right? And those are 2 of the best teams in the East. I don't know what the records are in the East, but, what are they? They have to be considered 2 of the top.
Oh, yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Teams, right? in the Eastern Conference for sure. And here we, with a depleted lineup, we get 40 shots against 40 shots against Washington, 49 against Tampa, 39 again tonight. Let me read it to you this way. High danger scoring chances, 29 against Washington, 18 against Tampa, 10 tonight. Expected goals for was 65 against Washington, 60 against Tampa, 34 tonight. Sounds good, right?
Yeah, sounds great.
Don't criticize a win, right? Yeah, like those. That's great. What a bunch of shots. And okay, now let me read it to you this way. Now, in the last 3 games, we've given up 32 shots, 32 shots, and 36 shots. We've given up 6, 11, and 15 high danger chances for a total of 32 in 3 games. How's that sound?
Not too bad.
Homer.
Hey, what I would like to say though is you reading out those shots. That's a step in the right direction though for this team. Like a real good step in the right direction.
Not the shots they're giving up, the shots
the shots they're getting. Right? Yeah, the shots they're getting. Right? Like this was a team that consistently I think Tippett sort of was holding them back, right? Like get, that Fogle goal tonight, right? Like that's the kind of thing that, that's the kind of shot that never made it to the net in a Tippett system, right?
That's
like
quantum singularity of Dave Tippett.
yeah. So I mean, that's like those are the things. Like if you're to chart that, I bet you anything we're on the up and up, and it's probably noticeably different right from when Woodcroft took over till now. He's done well. We still, though, the defensive lapses, like how many breakaways did Detroit have there before they started?
Oh, they're fast, man. They're
fast,
a really fast team. I was surprised. But yeah, I mean, we're giving up high danger chances and shots like Holland gives up cap space like impetuously. I don't know. Yeah, it's got to get sealed up.
Yeah.
All
right, we got lots of people out there watching, listening on all the platforms tonight. Let me know. I know there's been some
they're like,
some talk already about
it's Dash.
There's been some talk already about Koskinen. And
okay.
I think if you were to do a survey out in oil country, you think it's about 50-50 keep versus go right now?
For the rest of this season?
Yeah.
Oh no, I would say it's far leading towards keep now. I would say it's probably 75-25 or 80-20 towards keep Koskinen.
Maybe before
it's shifted, man.
Maybe before
go back a month and everybody was like, gotta keep Smith and gotta ditch Mikko, gotta get Smith, and now here we are like, we gotta ditch Smith and we gotta keep Mikko.
So here, I know there's a couple of Mikko, maybe not supporters, but folks that think we need to keep Mikko.
Look, Mikko went 15 straight games with letting 3 goals or less. He deserves some credit.
He deserves some love, absolutely.
So, obviously it's tilted the scales back in his favor to the point where they're discussing it on MSM, radio today, buddy, that should Koskinen get re-signed.
Oh, no, please.
I'm not kidding. And there's people that had that reaction you just did, texting in going, man, like Holland is an absolute complete failure if he comes into next year with Smith, Koskinen, and Skinner.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then.
Are you going to ask me about my dream?
No. Let me ask you this. So you keep Koskinen and you don't make a trade. Of any trade, and there's I know Neil's watching on YouTube right now. I know there was a little conversation going earlier about trade targets in the goalie realm, and saying, why make a lateral trade?
There's nothing there,
right? Well, no, hear me out first. You got to calm it down. I'm putting you on mute. Hear me out. If you keep Koskinen, what is your biggest concern going into the playoffs? That's my first question. What's your biggest concern?
Am I allowed to talk yet?
Yeah. This is my first question. There's a follow-up. Well, what's your biggest concern? Okay. Are you all right? I mean, how much of tonight, right? This is like a Grand Fear-esque type of performance tonight, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, and no, I more credit to Grant Fear than that. Sorry, Grant, because Grant
5-4.
Yeah, like the one thing about Grant is it could have been 80 shots against him, but he'd never give away that backbreaker, right? And I don't feel like, and I don't feel like Koskinen was tested like that tonight. I mean, Grant got tested some nights, where he just wouldn't give away that one. But my problem is that you just said it, consistency. So you go into the playoffs with a guy that you all year, everybody they know this. He's had good stretches over the past 3 years. He always has a couple of good stretches where he seems like the best goalie in the league, and then he inevitably lets in 1 or 2 bad goals. Like the the antithesis of Grant Fear, right? Like like the opposite, where he's letting in the backbreakers, right? And those are the goals that end up killing you. And I just think, this team, which we know has the capability to score 7 when they're rolling, right? Just needs a guy in there that can do a workman-like game, but consistently. I don't know who that is. Maybe they're not available. I know the goaltender market is shit right now. It's not shit. It's just that everybody wants a goalie. But my thing is I still think Holland needs to be on the phones looking for an attendee that has some consistency to their game. I think a lateral move, in my mind, is just as good as a move to a better goaltender. You
are going to ask about my dream, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. I mean, my gut tells me you got to have a guy in there that just can give a consistent performance night after night, and then you're going to have to hope to hell that the guys like Draisaitl and McDavid will take this team on their back from an offensive standpoint. And I think we've got the horses. If you don't think we've got the horses, you haven't been watching. This team, we're still missing Nugent Hopkins,
and JP.
Yeah, and yeah, and I actually think he's a huge loss. We're still missing 2 very big pieces to this offense that are should be ready within the next couple weeks. I think Nuge is still week to week, but JP should be in. I think by Saturday they're talking.
I heard maybe even Thursday, to be honest, and they said Nuge isn't far behind. Nuge is skating, so
yeah. So hey, I guess my two-parter to that is: would you take a goaltender that is a lateral move to Koskinen, given what you've seen lately?
Okay, well, I'll fill the listeners in on my dream.
The
lateral move
You're
was
dying to tell us your dream.
You just you teed it up. You couldn't have teed it up any better. The lateral move in my dream. I had a dream last night that we traded Mike Smith for Peter Mrazek because the Leafs need to make a similar type of lateral move. And then the Oilers met the Leafs in the Stanley Cup final, and it was Mike Smith versus Mikko Koskinen in the Stanley Cup final. So anyways, let's move on from that. I'll save that for my therapist.
Yeah, mine too, by the way. Yeah.
Well, or you're my therapist, however you want to work this. Look, why have you decided to take such a rock hard stance on creating all these rumors that Mikko Koskinen is inconsistent? I think I heard him in the presser and I couldn't agree more. I think that you, Michael Hebert, you lead the charge. You're trying to, drive him right out of town. I think that's horseshit. No, just kidding. Hey, that was pretty interesting. What a comment, a lot of people turn, narrative into facts, but I've never heard someone turn facts into narrative. All that said, can we make a lateral move? Is that your question?
Well, would you? I mean, if you had the opportunity,
if I could give up Mike Smith, not if I could give up Mikko Koskinen.
Koskinen's got to be the guy on the go because of the contract, I think.
I think Smith has to be the guy on the go. I completely disagree.
I mean, okay,
Nico's playing better than Smith, so you have to keep him for this run.
Yeah, here's the deal. If we could do this
under contract next year, we need to get rid of Smith so we have the opening.
Yeah. If we could do this and trade Smith, I'm all in. I just don't think it's going to happen that way. I don't know. I mean, I put it out to. I know Neil's watching. I know you don't think a lateral move's the right way to go. And maybe
I do if it's Mike Smith. If we can get rid of Mike Smith's contract and a lateral goaltending swap, but we need a lateral goaltending swap that has no contract next year, right? Like we need somebody that's a UFA. We need to clear that opening. We can't have Skinner in the minors all year next year. And if we're going to have him up, then we have to have Mikko and Smith gone.
You think Skinner's the the answer.
He should be the backup next year.
Yeah.
In which case, or if he's going to be in the minors all year, then I guess Mike Smith's the backup, because we can't have either one of those guys starting. So go get Carey Price at the draft or somebody like that, and hopefully you can put Mike Smith on long-term IR, or we can somehow miraculously trade him in this lateral move, like I dreamt about.
There's some chat on YouTube right now about Skinner seeing some game action in the next game or two. I think there's no chance. I think he's back in Bakersfield, and I would suspect anyway that we see Smith in the Sabres game on.
That's the right place to play him for sure.
It is the right place.
We need Tippett to get hired somewhere so that they can trade Smith there.
Yeah, no, I do like the way you think there. I think, hey, look at, don't critique a win. Look at this, like 3 games into a 5-game homestand that was top heavy, like in terms of competition.
Oh yeah, big time.
That's awesome. I mean, Buffalo's no walk in the park. They've been playing reasonably well lately. But
I'd like Detroit. They lost 10 in a row now.
Yeah. So, but wow, 3.
They've given up 10, 9, and 8 in different games on this 10-game losing streak.
Detroit.
They gave up 10 to
Buffalo?
Yeah, they gave up
Detroit.
Detroit. They gave up 10 to Toronto, 9 to somebody else, 8 to us. They're in the last 11 games. They've given up 60 and they've got 32.
Yeah, that's it's unbelievable, right? I didn't realize you were such a big Detroit fan. Huge Detroit fan.
I don't hate Detroit.
No, you know what? Hey,
one of my best buddies was a Detroit fan growing up, so I followed Yzerman and the whole gang.
Knows one or two. I've had Tess on the show. She's a big Detroit fan.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd like to ask Tess about that game, actually. I thought, Maurice Sider's good, man. How many people laughed at Yzerman when he drafted that guy? And he looks like the next coming of Nick Lidstrom. And Steve Yzerman would know.
Yzerman's building a good team there, right? Like, that's a lot of young talent. Stahl, when did he come off the mountain? Man, that guy, he looks different all with the beard and stuff. He looks a lot grumpier than he used to. And I think it maybe.
I should be happy after he got a hat trick tonight. He got 2 goals and then the game winner in the third. So,
okay. What do you think happened? What do you think?
Good for him. He's celebrating his 1,000th game, and then he's got 1 goal all fucking year, and then he gets 2 against us and the game winner. I like it.
What do you think about? What do you think Gags and Kane said? Did you see that? That was
for sure.
That has got to be.
Did you not see what I replied to you on Twitter?
No, I missed that.
I said Gags probably told Kane, when you break one of Wayne Gretzky's records, come and talk to me again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've never seen that before. It was kind of he went kind of after Yamo, and then all of a sudden he's high-fiving Kane. Well, he was about to cross-check Kane, and then a second later he's giving him the high five and saying, "Hey, buddy, let's meet for drinks after."
I used to play here.
I know. That's what I figured. Hey, man, I know that me and Connor were like this, man. Don't.
Did you hear about my 8-point night?
That's right. Okay. Expect I've got that teed up. I'm gonna put that out in a tweet for tomorrow for everybody to caption, because to me that was one of the most hilarious parts of the game. Okay. So I'm not done on this goaltending thing. Are the Oilers done on the goaltending thing? Or do you think they'll make a minor change? What's your thought?
It's not out there, man. Unless they found a gem in Narnia or Middle-earth where Holland's got those scouts we were talking about. I don't know who else. I don't think that the trade is out there, man. And anything that is going to be worth any type of goaltending effort is going to cost us too much, and I don't think Holland's willing to give it up. I think he's willing. I think he'll keep his goaltending powder dry and 100% keep it dry and go into the off season with what we have, and then figure it out in the off season or at the draft. This is what we got. I strongly believe that.
I'm still crossing my fingers on Vizmelka. I know everybody said he's not coming here, or that there's been talk he's not coming here. Crossing my fingers on Vizmelka out of Arizona. I've been saying that.
You were one of the first people to say it, I think.
Yeah, if not the first. Let's be real.
You said it on your show, and then Low Tide wrote an article like 3 days later. So clearly, he's one of your biggest fans.
Yeah, I know he's listening. But I know the word is Vizmelka's not coming. The other thing, I don't know. I mean,
Holtby's not available. Fleury's not coming. Fleury's not getting traded. Chicago promised Fleury they would not trade him. He doesn't want to leave his family during.
Yeah, well, the guy in one of the beat reporters in Chicago put out a tweet and then deleted it an hour later that said, confirmed, Theron. Yeah,
that would rock the world.
I'd happily trade him to.
Hey, if Avery can make a comeback, you never know.
Oh man, yeah, that Avery comeback was short-lived.
Let's put those two on the same line: Theron Fleury and Avery. As
soon as Avery realized there was a lineup of people at the door waiting to.
As soon as George Laraque signed a one-day contract in the ECHL, he retired again.
He called them up and said, "Do you mind releasing me from this?" Oh man, I tell you.
Anyways, somebody put a Marc-Andre Fleury trade tweet out and then deleted it.
Oh, tonight?
No, I'm helping you out and get you back on the tracks.
They put
Jesus.
Yeah. We're well beyond that.
This is your show for crying out loud.
I'm so far off the tracks. It happened about 3 years ago. I haven't been back on yet. No, I did a screenshot of it. I won't be able to find it, but beat reporter in Chicago said or confirmed that Theron Fleury has said he's not being traded.
Marc-Andre.
Mark Theron. Fuck. Marc-Andre Fleury is not being traded. So we'll see. Toronto, though, I mean, they've got a new goaltender that has taken them to the promised land.
Yeah.
Shutout tonight. First game, right? First game ever in the NHL, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it? I thought it was the second, maybe. Well, they've got the answer if that's this first game. I mean, Mrazek's letting in goals from the corner in his reverse VH like freaking Mike Smith is. So,
Yep. Yeah. So, all right. Let's just have a quick look at the scoreboard here right now. Canucks win tonight 6-3. They're making a hard and fast comeback coaching change mid-season. Boudreau's done something with this team. 6-3. That's pretty good output for them. And if Vegas continues the slide that they're on, even though I believe they're Stanley Cup favorites after they signed Eichel, but we'll see. They're down 5 in a row after tonight. They lost. Who'd they lose to tonight? The Jets, 7-3.
Yeah, 7-3.
You know, this. I'm going to talk about this briefly.
The wheels have come right off the Jets. The wings have come right off the Jets. Let's use the proper pun.
Yeah, you know the funny. Well, not funny. Maybe not funny if you're a Knights fan, but all year, right? Like everybody's talking about the Oilers, and most people that know the Oilers have been saying, look, like goaltending's a problem, right? You know, if we had some good goaltending, we'd be a different team than we are. Look at what goaltending does to a team. 7-3, the Knights. You know, that's how important goaltending is. Without
Stone, Leonard, and Fleury, they look like an expansion team.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. So anyway, they're down 5 in a row. The Kings look like they're going to lose tonight. They've had 16 shots through 2.5 periods against the Avalanche. Avalanche look like amazing.
And stocking up. Wait till they get Claude Giroux.
Oh, man, if they do,
Hey, how's that? They will. Watch. They're waiting for Giroux to play his 1,000th game. That's what I heard. And then how's that for a third line center, right?
This is what's
the score in the Panthers Sharks game? Because I parlayed the Avs with the Panthers and the Oilers.
Tie game 2-2.
The late one from the Panthers for that. I had 3 bets tonight. Let me just interrupt you with the other one was a parlay with the Oilers money line and the over, so I won that.
you got the over on that one? Are you sure?
Yeah, 6.5. Yeah,
was it 6.5?
Oh. Yeah, 6.5. Yeah, wow. And I also on a different website bet Sam Gagne to score. And that paid off 4.5 to 1. So
wow.
if the Panthers can pull this off in the third period, I win all my bets tonight.
You're doing all right.
Bet 99.
Yeah. Use the code Heavy Hockey for Bet 99. You'll get $600 instead of the regular $500 that you'd get bonus. Up to $600, I should say.
And Matthew Barnaby will come to your house and watch a game with you on your phone.
That's right. That's not. I'm gonna have to take that off the recording now.
That's not.
Neil brings something up. Imagine Calgary without Markstrom. I mean, the team is playing really well, and they've had Vladar. How do you say his name? Vladar.
Rittich.
Yeah, Rittich. Yeah, big
Sorry,
save,
yeah.
Dave. Where's he at now?
I know he threw a stick in the air and then retired.
They've had Vladar in, and they've looked pretty much the same. The team plays a pretty solid thing, but here's the thing. I don't, Neil. I don't agree with you that Calgary without Markstrom is not a good team. I think, in fact, part of the reason Markstrom's having such a great season this year is the style.
Look at the difference in Markstrom last year to this year.
It's the style of play that they play. I wouldn't even say it's the cast. I would say this comes down to just a really good style of play, and Sutter had them prepared for the season preseason. Like I heard he was on.
He had
the
them
phone
prepared
with
at the end of last season.
Yeah. He was on the phone during the off season talking to these guys. So there's that. The other thing, which for us Oilers fans, and that's predominantly people that tune in, is you got to think about this. Like, and I've got no problem with this. Calgary is peaking with 30 games left, 20 games left. How many games left in our schedule?
25.
25 games left. This is a real shitty time to peak, right?
Yeah.
And not to mention, they have not had anything resembling adversity yet this year. They've pretty much lost zero man games.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they've had one man game lost on defense this year. And so, if you take that against, our favorite team, the Oilers, who are up there in leading the league in man games lost. At one point, last week we're down 7 starters.
Yeah.
7 starters on the team, and still pulling out. Hey, we can't be too upset. I mean, they're still pulling out wins. Plus, we got a couple of goaltenders that Mike Smith, who clearly wasn't ready to get back in net, right? I mean, we might see it.
Game 2.
Yeah, we might see a game. We might see a good game out of him in Buffalo. He's had some time off, which is nice. I just think, look, Calgary, they don't realize. I don't know if they can get through the season without any injuries and get through the playoffs without any injuries. Maybe they're a good. Maybe
they're a magical unicorn because nobody's ever done.
No,
Michael,
so and not to mention, when I look at this squad, I honestly, I've got no faith in Gaudreau,
Johnny Gaudreau or Monahan playing in the playoffs and being able to bring it. Then I totally agree, man. When you talk about the peaking at the right time, here we are. Dumping Washington and Tampa and Detroit on their head and playing the Panthers and being competitive in all of these games, and had another great game against Tampa just a week ago, right? And we're about to add Nuge and PRV for the trade deadline, right? Like that's kind of our ad, right? We're peaking now.
Yeah, there's something to be said about adding. Like, look, I mean, I'm not going to compare us to Tampa Bay from last year, but look at Tampa Bay, right? Like the ads are roster players, right? Like when you can add roster players, so to speak. Hey, I'm like, you got to be happy with that, right?
For sure. Well, are we about to? Here, how about this? Agree or disagree? McDavid has looked better in the last 5 to 8 games than he has perhaps in the last 30 or 40.
Oh, McDavid has he's been on fire, and I you know what, I earlier on when Woodcroft came in, I thought he played McDavid. The utilization was down. I'd have to say utilization is pretty close to back up at the same. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I was going to try.
So anyways, continue on. I'm just.
Yeah, I know. All good. You asked me how many games were left in the season. And the reason I knew so quickly was because I care about being on your show. I did a little research, spent some time doing some homework.
That's bullshit.
In 18-19, Connor McDavid scored 36 points in the last 25 games of the season. In 19-20, he scored 38 points in the last 25 games of the season. And last season, he scored 50 points in the last 25 games. It feels like Connor's just heating up. How many points is he going to get in the next 25 games to end the season, Michael?
Oh, I think at least 50. Yeah, the way he's been playing, like, I'm watching.
Matching what he did last year is unbelievable. Like if he gets 40, that's incredible, right? But
I'm watching from home, and I'm watching the screen, and out of nowhere, Connor McDavid's on the other side of the ice getting the puck. Like it just doesn't. It feels like there was a blip on the screen. Like he's on one side of the boards, and then 2 seconds less than a second later, he's on the other side of the boards, flying in from who knows where. And,
the Haligonian cable company just skipped for a second.
Yeah, how does he is so fast. He is on the next level, and hey, I actually think Draisaitl's going through a bit of a slump.
And he looked off a bit again tonight, to be honest. Yeah, and I was at the game on Saturday, right? You knew that at the Lightning game. And he was like, man, what a difference. It's just so nice to be back at the rink. Let me just say that. Like, my God, how good to watch a hockey game when you can use your own ISOCAM and, watch whoever the hell you want. And I saw that whole Archibald thing brewing up before it happened, and I was loving it, like it just looked great. But man, seeing Connor McDavid live again, like we were in 12th row or whatever on Saturday, and like it was almost like he took offense to the fact that Tampa Bay called themselves the Lightning. Like, I'm Connor McLightning. It was unbelievable to watch him. Seriously, he walked around Victor Hedman for that one goal like he was 4 New York Rangers. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, and he's going to do it again, right? Like he's been close the last couple of games of doing the New York Rangers thing again.
That sniping, look at that quick release against Washington. Look at that top corner goal against Tampa. He is shooting the puck now, man. And you've said it 100 times that Draisaitl must have been injured or something to not. He's taking that executioner shot all the time again now too. Like I think both of those guys are feeling it. Connor especially. Dry maybe just not the last couple games, but yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
Here's the thing with Draisaitl that we're starting to see a little bit more, right? Is that shot's coming back. He was close tonight, right? Like that's the kind of thing where I say like he's in a slump. He's got the monkey on his back. He's not far from all of a sudden turning it into 3 goals, 4-goal game, right? Like he's gonna streak here right away with a couple of 2-3 goal games. You watch. I mean, Buffalo prime, right?
Right to the power play gets going again.
Yeah. Love it. I love the way this team's going tonight. I can give them a little bit of a. Don't critique the win. Is right. You can give them a little bit of leeway
tonight, right? And, I think Bouchard had a rough. You know what was exposed tonight. I really found I was just surprised how fast Detroit was, and I think Brad Malone's foot speed was really exposed, and I thought Evan Bouchard's foot speed was really exposed. I thought there was a lot of opportunities there where Evan could have made. I don't know. When it comes to Bouchard, he's a bit of a. Let me ask you this. If I said this about a defenseman to you, that a defenseman has no sense of panic, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I know where you're going with it, but I think
probably a good thing, right?
To me, that's a good thing. Yep.
Okay. What if I say he has no radar for danger?
Well, that would
be kind of the same thing, and Bouchard has both. I feel like he doesn't sense the pressure. He just he doesn't feel that danger. He doesn't have that radar for. And he's like, I've got all the time in the world. Until he doesn't.
Here's the thing, though, with Bouchard on this particular team is exposed a little bit defensively, right? Because I think our defense is definitely. I'd go so far, and probably everybody would agree with me on this. It's not like hefty analysis by any stretch, but I'd say that's probably our weakest area on this team is on defense, team defense. Of course. Right? I'm not even just going to put it all on the defenseman. I'm going to say team defense. But the defenseman, that's where it's going to start.
I mean, they put the poor kid with Duncan Keith.
Yeah. Yeah, we know how much you love Keith. I actually don't mind that pairing. But anyway, on another side, so you've got Bouchard on this team that struggles in defense, and I had Sean Patrick Ryan on a couple weeks ago now, who watched Bouchard a ton in junior on the London Knights, every game in fact, and knew Bouchard quite well, knew of him, scouted him, did a lot of things around that. And he brings up a good point. Is look, Bouchard's idea, which tonight we saw full force of defense, is a lot of stick work, right? Like he defends with his stick, right? He's not, he's not an Adam Larson type of defenseman. He's never going to be.
Checks.
And if you want him to be, then you got the wrong guy. He is your typical Carlson. He's your typical
he's Justin Schultz but better.
Yeah. So that's what you're gonna get. And if you want him to play defense, you got the wrong guy, right? And look, I think I'm all right with that. I think if you go in with that expectation, I'm all right with that. However, this team right now desperately needs another Adam Larson. Niemelainen back would be nice.
Yeah.
Can you believe we're saying that? Did you know who he was? I mean, you knew who he was, but honestly,
I've known who Niemelainen is since the day he was drafted.
But
I was actually, when you brought up SPR, I was gonna think, what did he think of Juolevi when he was in London? Because Sean would have been right there on that same time. Oh, I know that draft well, because that 2016 draft pissed me right off, because that was when Pete Chiarelli came in. He fired Stu McGregor, got rid of the scouts for 15 years of the Oilers. He brought in his own guys, right? That's when he brought in Keith Gretzky, but he used Bob Green. And so in that that was when they had 9 draft picks. That was the 2016 draft, right? They had 9 draft picks, and he figured, I don't want to trust Stu McGregor. I'm here now. I'm Pete Chiarelli. I'm bringing in my team. And I wanted them to draft a goalie. I was desperate for them to draft a goalie. I remember this draft, and they went ahead and they got Puljujarvi dropped to them in the first round, right? And in the second round is when they took Tyler Benson. But I wanted them. I was pissed right off. And that's why I remember this draft so much, because I wanted them to take Carter Hart. I had watched a ton of WHL games that year as well. I know he watched OHL games, but I'd watch a ton of WHL games, and I was in love with Connor Ingram from Kamloops, and I was in love with Carter Hart and Kamloops. Everett, sorry. And we took Benson, which I didn't hate, being, an Edmontonian and knowing all the, the potential and all of that.
Yeah.
But I was in love with Carter Hart, and I wanted him to take that goalie in the second round. Then in the third round, we picked up Niemelainen and Berglund, the two defensemen, because we had 2 picks in that third round. And Connor Ingram went after both of those guys. But Marcus Niemelainen was a recommendation on his way out the door from Scott Housen. When they fired McGregor and Housen and got rid of that crew, Scott Housen asked the Oilers to draft Niemelainen and Berglund. Said he'd had long eyes on them for a long time and thought that they had a lot of potential to be NHLers. So, yes, I'd heard of Marcus Niemelainen, Michael.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was being. That's a
so
long
yeah,
way to say. We've all heard of him.
Pick,
We'd all heard of him.
Third round pick. Did I expect him to be what he is? No, and we do miss that physicality for sure.
Yeah, I mean, nobody expected him to come out the way he did this year. I think that's good. And we need him. We need him back. You know, he was. And he's fun. He's fun to watch, right? Like there's
for sure.
You know, I miss knowing that Cassian was going to get the big hit, right? Like I miss that. You know.
Yeah.
I loved having Archie back. You know, he's back in and he's doing what Archie does. Yeah. Look, there's a lot of stats guys out there that hate Archie.
Well, but his first 2 games back, he's leaking chances too, man. Him and Cassian are running around, and I know he's doing what we need him to do, but he's also the puck's going the other way when he's out there.
You got to be pushing and hitting and doing those things. You can't be so soft to play against all the time. And that's just the way. Like, you know, the Oilers have been soft all year, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. You leak a couple chances, but you get a couple big hits, I'll take it, right? If you're winning games.
Right? No, I know.
Games,
like, but
I'll take
if you're winning games, you know, that's right. You know, and then I think I even answered a fan or somebody on Twitter that was talking about that, and they were bitching about his game. And I said that too. You know, we won the game. Archie drew 2 penalties. He took Sergachev off the ice for 5 minutes right after they scored. That was a huge momentum swing in the game right there. Again, I was 10 rows up from that, or 12 rows up from that. I shouldn't exaggerate. And that energy you could see, like not only Malone not taking any shit, and then Archibald not taking any shit. Then he gets Sergachev, their second best defenseman, puts him in the penalty box for 5 of the last 9 minutes of the game now. That's a valuable thing that happened, whether he was 1 high danger chance to score and 3 against. You know what I mean? Like, that's the intangible we need. And I understand that. My problem with it is when he's paired with Cassian, they're both the same type of player where they just they run around and bomb guys when Cassian's at his best, like wrecking balls, but neither one of them have the defensive awareness or positioning of a 12-year-old. And when they are both out on the 5,
what's their time on the ice though? I mean, they're not playing enough to be substantial. They, like
7.5 minutes, 6.5 for Cassian. But look at the only person. Is this the right game? Yeah. So everybody was between 45 and 50 some on for Corsi tonight, right? You understand Corsi, that's possession. Closer you are to 50%, you're half in their end, half in your own end. Zach Cassian had an 8% Corsi tonight, dude. Archibald had a 23. Like, that's
how much of that? How much of that is a product of playing?
92% of the time.
How much of that is a product of playing with Cassian? Right?
No, that was Cassian that had that. But that's what I'm saying. That's my point, is when they're paired together, it's chaos.
I still, there's still got to be something. Like, I get it. And I watched them. Yeah, they leak. But at the same time, you got to be tough to play against. You got to have, there's not, you've played the game. A big hit, man. You're itching to get out there, right? Yeah. You're itching to get out there. You see, like anytime Nemo hits a guy, it's like, you just want to hop on the ice and start playing. Like, I love
you're
it.
right. They were soft too. Like I saw, before Kane, Niemelainen, and Archie coming back and Cassian looking like himself again. You're right. They were playing incredibly soft like your shoulder.
But I'm back on the ice.
I'm back, baby.
Speaking of the shoulder, I'm back on the ice. I've played 2 games back already. I'm off the IR.
Friday.
I'm off the IR.
I'm off the LTIR.
Lots of people on here making fun of Keith. They're asking what you thought of Keith's game tonight. What did you think of Keith's game tonight? What do you think? Okay, I said it earlier.
Next.
I like Bouchard and Keith together in terms of if you got to play Keith, you're going to have him on your roster. Where do you put Bouchard? I'm all right with him and Keith together. Your thoughts on it?
I hated it. I hate our second pairing. I've hated it.
What are you
going to
do different? What are you going to do different?
You can't do anything different. That's the situation Holland put us in.
There you go.
But
that's
what
I'm
do I
asking.
think of Keith's game here?
I'm not asking you like is Keith and Bouchard the right way to go? We're stuck with Broberg's been, I think, great.
Bouchard's Corsi was 33%. Keith's was 38%. They were on for a contributing of Keith has contributed to 6 scoring chances for and contributed to 16 against. Okay. Bouchard contributed to 5 for.
Yeah, the Corsi for the team though was 42.
That's
right. So what's
chances.
their relative Corsi? Like let's talk about that more so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I mean, sure. The team's they're still underneath the team's Corsi regardless, but the scoring chances for combined, that's.
Did anybody have
11 for and 30 against, and high danger was, but for the pairing was 5 for and 14 against. That's not a good night. That's how I feel about Keith's game tonight. You're welcome. Thanks for asking. Getting me all fucking flustered.
Yeah. Hey, we're stuck with him. We got nowhere to go. He's not terrific. That's for sure. There were a number of guys actually with Tyson Barrie of all people had a damn good relative Corsi tonight. Tyson Barrie, defensive juggernaut. Tyson Barrie had a 16%.
Oh,
yeah. So there you have it. Stats don't lie.
And Cassian's was minus
Barrie.
37.
Tyson
minus
Barrie
37 relative Corsi.
Yeah.
Great game. Keith's was minus 6. Good game. Bouchard's was minus 12. Good game.
Yeah, Bouchard. I'm all right with Bouchard. We know what we got with him.
And
he's still
we talked about his comparables earlier. He's almost like, is Barrie a better comparable
to Bouchard?
Right? Just too cool, too calm. A bit of a disaster in his own end. Fantastic offensive. Bouchard can shoot better than Barrie, but Barrie can distribute better than Bouchard. I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't need both of them.
No, I mean, that's, if you're going for the comparable, that's the one maybe comparison that's probably the biggest in that is why sign Barrie for, I mean, this team is littered with weird contracts, awful contracts.
Yeah.
Ones that don't make sense. Signing, I could see signing Barrie for 2 years in hopes that you're going to develop Bouchard for a couple, but signing him that 3rd year just really didn't make sense to me. Obviously, the Duncan Keith trade and keeping all of that salary made no sense.
Yeah.
Even Cody Ceci until 2045 doesn't make a whole lot of sense at 3.2. I've loved Ceci's game. He's been solid, but
he's been
just that type of link for that guy, is
we might not feel the same way in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I feel. I just you're trying to. At least the hope was that you had Holland come in to change this team's fortunes long term, right? and they didn't. And he hasn't seemed to yet. We got, obviously the playoffs have got to be, a standard. Are we back on the playoff? Like, you think the Oilers are making the playoffs? Last week it was in question.
I've always said they were going to make the playoffs. You're the one that flip flops like a pancake on this. Where are you on this now? You've been on and off, and you broke your ankles coming off the bandwagon again.
No, you know what?
You started out saying they would, then you said they wouldn't. Now you think they'll make the playoffs again.
No, I don't know. I still don't know.
Now you don't know. Vegas, now you're just sitting on the fence like
Vegas is the question mark. But we're
I agree.
We're 2 points up, and man, I would love nothing more than for Vegas to absolutely plummet from here. Like, if Vegas
2 points behind us now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, if there's a fan base that just drives me insane, it's the Golden Knights fan base. Because there's a fan base that comes into the league, their team has done well straight from the start, and then all of a sudden these guys are experts on hockey because their team has done...
They don't know adversity.
Yeah.
Like, where's your decade of darkness, Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, God. It's like they're as bad as... They're as bad as Toronto fans, I tell you. All right, so Avalanche win tonight.
Nothing's as bad as Toronto fans.
Avalanche win tonight, so a little bit of a favor. Maybe we still got a chance at getting on LA and moving up another spot there. We've got 2 games in hand on them, so I guess that makes us a game back. I wish the NHL would go to the game system, game back, and I like that. You know what? That to me makes sense. I like that system. It's easy to...
Florida scored. Final in OT. I win all my tickets tonight, buddy.
All right.
Dinner's on me when you come to the Colorado game.
Nice. Good job.
I'll pick you up at the airport.
What our friend Mr. Eric Friesen put out a tweet tonight, which is Oilers are on pace right now for 95 points this season, with 22 games left to play. How many points do you think they'll finish with?
Jeez. I think they need about 100, 98 to 100. But I think the big challenge and the big telltale will be, those upcoming games against Colorado. Well, not necessarily Colorado, but San Jose's in the division, Calgary, LA, St. Louis, LA again, Colorado again, Vegas on the middle of April. That sandwich there's about 6 and 10 where the season will be determined, because they're divisional games, and that's where we got to make up points.
So what's your answer?
What was your question again?
Wow. They're on pace for 95. How many points?
I said 98 to 100.
No, give me a point total. This is being
99. Jeepers. Can you know how to do averages?
At 99, they're making the playoffs. I figure 97. At 97, they're probably making the playoffs. I think they're all right.
The irony of us picking 99 and 97 is what?
Yeah, those are good. Those are good numbers. Those are all right. Those are all right numbers.
Yeah, right.
They're all right. Okay, let's switch topics to finish off tonight. We've stayed away from talking available defensemen. By the way, how shitty does Arizona feel with Chychrun out? What is it, 2-4?
Oh. Wish you would have traded him now. How good does Colorado look getting Josh Manson?
Yeah. And
cleared some cap space today, so...
And Sherratt, I heard word St. Louis is the front runner. Not sure if that's true or not. I'm not an insider. I just look like one. No, I don't even look like one. I don't even look like an insider. Yeah, Garfield. Just call me Garfield. I might
like to make an announcement here. Heavy hockey.
Here's the thing. Every now and again I make fun of Garfield for a good reason. And somebody says, "Oh, Garfield's been right, before, had some really good." And I like the amount of tweets that Garfield comes out with, of course you're going to be right once in a while.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like, anyway, you know what? I'm not going to get onto it. I don't want to get on. I don't want to talk about this. Let's talk about defensemen.
Okay.
The Oilers need a defenseman. Do you think, here's the cynical piece in me. I don't think the Oilers are making any big moves at all. I think trade deadline's going to come and go. We'll make a couple of utility moves.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that'll make a splash. 90% of Oilers Twitter is going to blow up the day after trade deadline day that we didn't do enough. And I will not be the least bit surprised. And maybe I'm just trying to lower my expectations. But here's part of the problem is...
No, I think you're being realistic.
I mean, you could go on TSN's trade bait board and, who wants what the Oilers have if it's Ken Holland who's immediately said, I'm not trading any picks, right?
Right.
And here's a guy that, likes to percolate young talent, right?
Yeah.
He's not gonna trade any big name prospects. Like, basically, who out there wants Marody or Griffith, or if Griffith,
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, those are the
years
guys.
old,
Yeah, those are the guys you can add into that list. Or who wants Cuckoo, right? Like, those are the guys that we have to go back. Plus,
those guys haven't. No, but you've got Holloways, you've got Savoys.
Yeah, but he's not going
to
trade Holloway, Savoy, or Broberg, right?
No, I hope not. But I'm just saying.
So
he has more assets to move than what he has. But if we're just going to get a scrub defenseman, then maybe Lagesson, yeah, for sure. I think Barry's potentially could move.
Yeah, do you think Barry's honestly like a target for somebody out there at 4.5?
I think he has value. 3? Yeah, I think so. I think he produces enough offense, and you get what you get out of Tyson Barrie. I'd say like a team like Colorado would love to have Barrie back. Landeskog's best friend, and they could have that type of cap space. Love the offense. I know realistically Adam Larson's not coming back, but if you can make some sort of trade that's like Tyson Barrie for Adam Larson, or a guy like Adam Larson, I think that trade is potentially out there. But that's big game hunting, because that's.
I think you're 100% wrong about Barrie. I don't think the.
You don't think he has value to be traded?
I think he's got value. I don't know. I think
Barry's always been what Barry is, man. What's changed? He was this in Toronto. He was this in Colorado.
Well, that's the thing. He wasn't this in Toronto.
His points dropped a little bit, but I mean, if you look in the whole grand scheme of his career, Tyson Barrie's still Tyson Barrie. And
I mean, we're talking about consistency, right? There's a model of inconsistency.
Yeah, I would say he's consistently offensive and consistently bad defensively. He's consistent to both.
Yeah,
you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a grenade in your
own
end.
Where does he slot in Colorado? I mean, Colorado, they've got Makar. The last person
how they run their power play and how many guys.
Last person they need is Barrie, right? Like you know.
I use it as an example, but ultimately I don't think that's.
I just think the market on Barrie is so minute. I don't know what we're gonna scoop up without trading an asset. If you can't trade a pick and you're not going to trade anybody from the farm, then that's why I'm not expecting it.
You know what I mean? Well, no, and I wouldn't. You who are maybe Mark Piszczek, Justin Braun. I can see us getting somebody like
Piszczek
that.
Would be all right if we could find a way to get Piszczek. I'm all right with that.
Hometown boy, Sherwood Park.
Yeah.
I've heard smoke around Justin Braun. I don't know. What do you want to grab? PK Subban out of New Jersey?
There's some discussion about Neil. No, I'm not even going to get into it. But let's just say Makar, hands down, I'm going to say it. I think he's the best defenseman in the league right now.
Oh, he's top.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
He's
starting
one
a
of-
team
he's
from
one of the
scratch,
best
you'd take
players
him
in
over
the league.
Hedman, right? But if you were
Yeah.
going to try to win a cup right now, you'd take Hedman.
Yeah, like I love watching Makar play. Kid's good. Only knock on him is he's from Calgary. Other than that, he's
Right.
pretty decent. Defenseman available right now. Sherratt would be nice. Whereas the only place I hope he doesn't end up is Calgary.
Ugh.
That would be. Is Klingberg still on the list?
Like, I don't think he's happy in Dallas. Whether they're going to trade him going down a cup stretch is another story. Like, that might be an off-season trade. I haven't heard anything about it recently, but there was obviously a lot of talk about it before. But he's a UFA, right? There's, can you imagine us getting Mark Giordano?
Yeah.
And then end up against the Flames in the first round?
I have thought about this.
Uh-oh.
What's
Put me on mute.
What's your feeling on this? Like, part of me would love to see that because, like, I hate
for the comedy and
hate
irony of it all.
I hate Giordano, but part
Me
of it
too.
is he plays a tough game, right? And it's not so much the tough game that he plays or how great he is. He's getting a little bit old in the tooth, obviously, but he is a leader. Like, he is a leader. The guys love him wherever he goes, right?
Knows what it takes in the playoffs.
Yeah. Like, would you take him?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. If the deal is right, for sure.
I mean, I just can't. He's one guy I can't see agreeing to come to Edmonton.
Right. Yeah, fair.
You
But
know?
I can see Mark Stahl maybe coming to Edmonton, with the Holland Eiserman relationship. I don't know, man. That would maybe be a left-handed target and then maybe a Pishik or a Braun on the right side. But I think that's all you'll see. I think we'll have
maybe Subban,
couple of
and
utility
we take the
defensemen
whole salary with them. Take the whole Subban
How
and,
would
and
that
keep
happen?
the salary. I don't know how we'd do it, but Holland
They can buy him out and we'll take him at minimum. Yeah.
Oh man, we're in a
Kane,
bad.
Kane was our trade deadline acquisition.
Yeah, I part of me though too, and we talk about this. Like, part of me hopes everybody comes back healthy, starts playing the way we know how with a good coach in Woodcroft and Manson back there, and I like Goldson. You get everybody back healthy. You start playing the way you play. You don't do any kind of crazy movements, right? You get out of some of these contracts, right? Get out of the Koskinen contract. If you can find any way to get out of the Mike Smith contract, you do it.
He might go LTIR.
Yeah, or even that.
Like Marian Hossa and find a rare skin disease that he can't put his equipment on anymore. Maybe that's what the problem is right now. Maybe his equipment's itching him because he does not look comfortable between the pipes.
Yeah, and take the opportunity. Let's see what we got in Puljujarvi for the rest of the year. He's arbitration eligible for next year. You take that opportunity.
Yeah.
Try to maybe line him up and sign him for a couple years at some type of a bridge contract, right? I'm still wary of signing Puljujarvi long term though, so maybe that's wrong. But I'm personally and that unless if a guy's like an absolute superstar, I hate long term contracts. I just think they end up biting you in the ass. So they won't on like a Connor McDavid or a Leon Draisaitl, but for instance, the Zach Hyman one in 2025, 2026, that could be the worst contract in the league, right? Do you know what I mean? Like you just
for sure.
You just don't. I mean, that's my problem with the Cody Ceci signing as well.
The length as well, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm happy we've got
those...
Keith for another year. I'll tell you that. 5.5.
You know what? We got 3 wingers on short-term contracts right now, and we're only going to be able to keep 2. So, if you were the GM, who do you keep 2 out of the 3 of JP, Yamamoto, and Kane?
Well, as much as I think people have loved what Kane's brought to the team, I just can't see him re-signing here. He'll get a contract somewhere, right? Somebody will take him for.
You think he
more
dislikes
than,
playing with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl?
I honestly just don't think that's even has anything to do with it, right? I don't think he's going to take any type of discount to play here. Kane needs the money, right? Like he's got some shit to pay.
Sure. Well, what's he worth then? $4 or $5 million a year, just like JP is. So
somebody's going to give him 6.5.
You think so?
Absolutely. The guy scored 9 goals already.
10.
Right? Did he score? Oh, he scored another one at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I think somebody's going to give him 6.5. Take the chance on him. I mean, he's shown.
Well, then I guess we have our Yamo
and play. I mean, I think he's playing well enough that he deserves, a discussion, right?
Yeah.
Like I was the biggest detractor from him coming here, and I'll be the first to say that, I think it deserves a discussion. Well,
so if we're to re-sign, what if Holland can send off Yamamoto to Seattle back to his hometown and a package for Giordano?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't love Giordano that much. I just think I would love to. Is there anybody out there in the Corey Perry, Patty Maroon type of pedigree?
I think we're going to get a forward though, unless they're on D.
But those guys, like the pedigree, though. Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of guy that like
any position or just a forward?
Yeah, any position, I think.
Isn't that Mark Stahl?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's kind of and maybe this
Johnny Boychuk.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking up and down the list here, and nobody's really popping out at me.
I'm looking at the FA. Hey, Chris Russell. There you go.
there we go.
That's a Brit. We should bring that guy in.
Yeah. Is he scheduled to be back anytime soon?
Oh, I don't know. Let's hope not.
He's on LTIR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, LTIR expires March 22nd for him. So trade deadline day, but they probably extend it. Yeah. And then I'm curious. I'd be curious. We'll find out probably in the off season if Clefbaum calls it quits or not. Right? He's still got a year left.
Yeah, we should find out for sure. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I mean, I'd be curious.
I don't think it's dead yet. Maybe it's Lloyd Christmas and Dumb and Dumber, and you're saying there's a chance, and it's 1 in a million, but I don't think it's dead yet.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, long story short, I'd be surprised if we got any moves that aren't utility type players that, are just set to keep us kind of going. Hopefully we have kicked the injury bug going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think this team has a shot at a round if they're healthy.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to whether the defense can hold, the goaltending can be average, and whether Connor and Leon can be Connor and Leon, really, is what it comes down to. If they can put a team on their back, we all know they can. Can I ask you a question? Do we have time?
No questions.
All right, that's
all
cool.
right. No, go for it. We got time. We got time for one question.
All right. I'm going to ask you 2, but they're one-word answers, okay? So
Shit. You're only choice?
No, you're just allowed to say the person's name and not why you think that. Who's the league's MVP this year? It's Connor, right?
We're on it. No, I just don't maybe now.
You don't, honestly, in all your heart, you don't think Connor McDavid's winning the Hart Trophy this year?
If he continues to play the way he's playing right now, then yes.
Okay. Who's the Oilers MVP? That's my second question.
Jeez.
Different question, right? I don't know. Why is it? It shouldn't be. So, I won't let you stumble on it.
But I'd still say I'd still go with Connor. But in terms of the league MVP, look, I love Connor as much as any Oilers fan, if not more. I love him more than all of you guys. But look, Connor's going to do what Connor does, and I don't think that I used to believe that he was the difference in this team, right? Like the only difference. I don't 100% believe that anymore. I believe and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also think there are other players, and not Austin Matthews. I'm sorry to say that to any Leafs fans out there. I think Austin Matthews is a 100% terrific scorer. Like I think he's maybe one of the best goal scorers we've ever seen, but he's more Brett Hull than he is Mario Lemieux, right? Like if you go,
and every fan in Toronto says the same thing about Draisaitl and thinks that Matthews is a defensive wondermind.
Yeah, and like we've not seen Matthews play with anybody that's not top of their game, right? And anyway,
play a season with Dominic Cahoon, Austin Matthews.
Yeah, that's that's exactly it. So anyway, I don't think it's Matthews. Makar's got to be up there. Huberdeau's got to be up there.
Let me rephrase the question then, so that you can. Which Oiler has a better chance of winning the Hart Trophy?
Jesus, man. I think it's Connor. There's got to be.
There you go. Okay, so that's what I thought. So, but then you look at, and I asked you, and I agree, I think it's Connor. But then you look at it and you ask who the team MVP is. Like, I think the answer is Draisaitl, man. I really do. Like, you look at the faceoffs alone, he's getting trotted out there for every single important draw. I looked at the last 3 games. He took 28 of the team's 61 faceoffs against Washington. He took 27 of the team's 73 against Tampa. He took 20 of the 62. He's playing 3.5 minutes of penalty kill against Washington. He's playing 2 minutes of penalty kill against Tampa. Connor took 30 some faceoffs in all 3 games. Connor played 37 seconds of penalty kill in that time.
Yeah, this is because I beat this drum so many times. It's like a broken record for me. I still feel like Leon Draisaitl, hard to say it, but I still think he's so underrated as a player.
Crazy.
Sean Patrick Ryan, as you were listening, he thinks he's the best player in the world. I don't know
That's
if I'm going to go.
I'm getting at, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go that far. But I tell you, I'm close. I'm close to believing that. And
I bet you Connor McDavid wins the MVP, and Connor McDavid isn't the MVP of our team.
Yeah.
So
like I just think there's a whole ton of different things that Draisaitl does, and he does it like, you never worry about who you're putting on Draisaitl's line, right? He's just going to do what he does.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't worry about that. You put him out there for every situation, right? And yet he still gets, like people say that he doesn't have a defensive game. You don't put a non-defensive player into a PK situation and trust him. And you can trust. In fact, I want to see him out there, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy is next level. Yeah, he gives the puck away sometimes, but which good player doesn't?
Yeah.
Which good player in the league doesn't?
Players that give the puck away a lot have the puck a lot.
There's that too, right?
Right.
I mean, how many times have you seen Draisaitl make a pass where one wasn't available?
Yeah.
Right? Like it just is that way. Yeah, Connor to me is he's still the guy, right? Like nights like tonight are the reason he's the guy. But Draisaitl, I think unless if you're a fan of the Oilers and you're watching every day, you will never fully appreciate what this guy brings to the team. And I still say he is the least lauded 50 goal scorer of all time. Like the year after he scored 50 goals and he almost won the Rocket Richard and went down to the final game, nobody talked about him the last, the next year. He still, when they did their top 10 NHLers, I think he was lucky if he broke the top 10 at that point.
Bet on Leon for the Rocket this year at the beginning of the year. You keep talking. I'll tell you what the odds were.
Yeah. No, you know what? I don't know. I'll tell you this. Matthews is a hell of a goal scorer. He is. He is maybe one of the best goal scorers we've seen in a very long time. If he stays healthy, he does a lot of things. He'll be winning the Rocket Richard more than one occasion, and he'll continue to do that. If you look at goal scorers with his goals per game average, and you tie that into where they are from a points per game average, he's ridiculously low, right? Like, anybody in the top sort of 10 goal scorers, goals per game average of all time, all also have a lot of points. Not that he's got a lot of points by sheer volume of goals, but his comparable in that range is Brett Hull. And Brett Hull was a terrific goal scorer. But did anybody ever say he was the best of all time, or at any point say he was the best of all time? No. They said he's a good goal scorer, and he'll go down as being one of the best goal scorers ever. And Austin Matthews the same way. Draisaitl, on the other hand, good goal scorer, good puck distributor, good everything. Right?
Nobody's scored more goals in the NHL than Leon Draisaitl in the last 3 years. And at the beginning of this season, he was plus 700 to win the Rocket. A $20 bet is going to win me $240. Like, no respect.
I'm going to have to stop paying you to be on the show.
I don't know if I can take another pay cut at Heavy Hockey.
You're making that kind of money. Yeah.
All the money I won tonight, I might be able to pay everybody's salaries.
There you go. All right. Well, we've exhausted this. We didn't talk a lot of the game tonight, but it was a bizarre game.
It was just sloppy. It was just kind of gross. It was a weird game for sure. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like the win against Tampa and Washington for sure.
Okay, back to tonight's game. Was there a little bit of you that just sort of saw it coming? You get up 3 goals that early? Or did you think it was going to be like 100-0 at the end of the game?
I bet the over. I knew it was going to be a high-scoring game. I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game. I just, when it was 4-0, I thought, this is going to be a 6-2 game or something like that, I guess. I didn't think it was going to, be 4-4 at any certain time, that's for sure.
Damn it. I've got more questions in my head now. I'm trying to like wrap shit up here. Okay, so
wrap it up and save it for tomorrow night if you want.
Yeah, no, this is relevant to this. If you were to do a power ranking for the week, you think the Oilers are in the top 10 of this week?
Yeah, in the top 10, yeah. I think the athletic power ranking has them at 14th anyways or something, or 15th anyways, but so yeah, I think so. I think when you beat Tampa and Washington and put up
that'd be our first top 10
numbers we
since
have
the beginning of the season.
Yeah, since 16-5. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to go with.
5 or 6 game losing streak. Then we started to dip out of the top 10 and we never did get back. Well, that's what happens when you have a 5, a 6, and a 7 game losing streak. I bet you we go down as the first team in the NHL history that has a 5, a 6, and a 7 game losing streak in the same season if we make the playoffs.
That could be. I don't know how you figure that out. I'm not going to take the time to do it.
Nor I. We'll put Lotzie on it.
Yeah. We need to put the stats guy on it.
Yeah, lots of Lotzie.
All right. Lots of things tonight. Lots of good things, lots of bad things, lots of everything. Some guys off the schneid, some guys doing a lot of different things. We're going to be back on tomorrow night. For those of you here, hit the subscribe button, by the way, if you haven't already. Appreciate the support if you do. I know it might not mean much, but it means a lot to us here that we get that subscriber count up, and really do appreciate all the listens and everything on all the different platforms. And thanks for tonight. We actually had was quite a few people on doing a lot of different chats tonight. So I didn't. In fact, every time I went to go say something, the chat had moved so far ahead that I just let it be. What else? A couple of just sort of show notes for tonight. Yeah, we're going to be back on tomorrow night to talk some Sabres pregame. We're going to have Jeff Aid, if I'm not mistaken, who's a big Sabres fan. Is Petey going to make it, or he's out? No,
Petey's out.
Petey's out. So we're going to talk some Sabres hockey. Sabres are up there with one of my favorite teams, so we're going to talk some Sabres hockey. And I think I love they're like our sister team, you know? Like, Sabres fans know what we've gone through, you know, with having Eichel, and then the only difference is Eichel's left that organization to destroy another one. So we've got that on the docket.
He'll be the GM of the Knights in no time.
That's right. So we got that on the docket. We're going to have that. I think that's it from my side. We'll chat with everybody tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter at Oilerslive. Follow Dash at DashInThePark. Dash, as always, I'm giving you the last word. Use it wisely. Have a great night, everybody.
I've never once used the last word wisely. I don't know why I would start tonight. I was going to give a few show notes and say that we're on tomorrow with Jeff A. So, you may have stole a little thunder there. So instead, let's say this. I did predict the Washington win. I did predict the Tampa win. I even actually predicted how many goals we'd score in the Tampa game. I predicted a Detroit win, and I'm going to predict two more. Buffalo and New Jersey. I think we're going to pull these both off. I think we've shaken that monkey off our back from the Tippett days, or even Todd McClellan days, of playing down to shitty teams and playing up to good teams. So, I think that Woodcroft has that monkey off her back. So we're about to hit a 5-game winning streak. And I'm going to need a lot more of those as the season goes on, that it's going to come down to the wire this year. I think we've already talked about that. So it's going to be exciting to how it goes, but that's all I'll say for tonight, because I'm looking forward to getting back on with you again tomorrow night, Michael. Good night. Well, let's go Oilers.
Oilers Live.